everyone! Every time I sit in my office to record one of these videos, I become hyper aware of the fact that I have a really messy office. I need to fix that this summer. First things first, I wanted to thank everybody who took the time to go online and fill out the Qualtrics survey that was checking in about, how the course is going for you, if you have any ideas about ways we can improve, things you like, things you don't like. I had a handful of responses. I can't say I had overwhelming response, but I would have, I think maybe about a fourth of you guys went in there to provide some comments, and I really appreciate that. And as I promised, the point of that midterm check-in is to allow me the opportunity to address some potential problems or needs within the classroom before the end of the semester when you tell me through the student opinion of instruction. And your comments were very instructive for me. So somebody mentioned the idea of finding some opportunities to have some live discussions. And I'll tell you, that's been something that I've been interested in doing for a long time. So you were speaking to the right person, but I've hesitated doing that because I know we don't have a synchronous program. And I know so many of you all are working and raising families and doing a number of other things in your lives that make it very complicated to find time to attend a live session. That being said, I don't think there's a problem. You guys let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a problem with making myself available to one of those opportunities should you guys have a moment to come and attend. And if I hear from a number of you that you can't attend the session that I schedule, maybe we can reschedule another session that works at a better time for you. But my vision for this is that I'm going to have like an office hour essentially before the final paper, the policy brief paper, which is due on April 24th. And my instinct is to schedule it pretty close to before the paper is due. I know that a lot of people work ahead, but I also know that a lot of people don't work ahead. So I'm thinking maybe 2 days before it's due. That way, for those who have worked ahead, they can identify some challenges or problems they might want to check in about and have some questions answered. For those who haven't started, it might be a good jump start. Okay, you have 48 hours to finish this final paper. So my plan is Monday evening to schedule a Zoom session, and that will be a drop-in as you please. I'm thinking I'll do that from maybe 7:30 to 8:30 because I know we have some people that are in different time zones, and maybe that will be late enough that people are all off work, but maybe, provide some flexibility and make it so it's not too late for those who are in the Eastern time zone. Anyhow, you don't have to stay for the full hour. Just drop in as you like. Ask a question and go if you choose, or you can stick around for the entire time and hear what other people are asking, if anything. So I'm interested to see how this goes. Thank you so much for that suggestion. I really appreciate it. I also heard some suggestions that might be instructive for me in the future semesters that I'm teaching this, like potentially having more opportunities for discussion posts. I'm not going to change that right now just because I know that we're all in the sprint toward the end of the semester and we're not trying to add additional assignments, and we've all, committed to the syllabus as it was iterated at the beginning of the semester, and I'm not going to throw anything at you last minute. Also, somebody suggested grading the tests that are available to you in Blackboard. Right now, those are really just for your own benefit, if it's helpful for you to test your knowledge after reading those chapters and see where your deficiencies might be and go back and do some additional reading. We could consider having those weighted so that they're averaged into your final grade. That's something I'm going to think more about and maybe talk to some other students to see how they feel about it, and maybe some other instructors to see if other people are already doing that. I also heard some people who are struggling with the instructions for the papers, and I would love to hear specifics. If you guys are comfortable coming to me, you shouldn't feel sheepish about providing some specific instruction around that because I was not the person who wrote those assignments. So I won't take it personally, but I can take that information that you give me and share that with course developers who are working on revising these types of courses. And that could be really helpful. I serve on the MSW committee, so I'm a part of those conversations around curriculum development, and I can share your thoughts with the larger faculty. And hopefully those would be taken into account. So if you feel comfortable reaching out to me by email, we can find a time to talk by phone, whatever you'd like. but I'd love to hear your thoughts about ways we can provide better instruction on those assignments so that in the online environment you're feeling more confident about how to address those assignments. Additionally, if this Zoom session to allow an opportunity for questions and answers about the assignment goes well, I'll probably institute that going forward for each of the assignments, because I would not mind doing that at all if it's helpful to students to just have a moment, low pressure, knowing that I'm there in case they want to come and ask a question. So we'll see how those things go, and thank you again for taking the time to offer that feedback. It was really useful for me. And you'll have another chance at the end of the semester, of course. The university will contact you to rate the course and all of that. But again, it's too late for me at that point. You're just providing some feedback to the university. So I appreciate this midterm feedback. All right, for your papers, the second thing, I'm over my 5 minutes already, so I have to get talking faster. Your papers were wonderful. I thought you guys did a really nice job with those issues and considering different sources of information and the way that they present their facts and whether or not the way that they approach the facts is credible, what strategies they're using. Are they using ones that you've learned of through the Jansen text, or are they using non-traditional techniques? You guys did a really nice job of paying attention to those details in the paper. The main critique that I had, for those of you who didn't get full credit and who lost points, I think the biggest issue I saw was that a lot of people struggled to identify opposing sides on an issue. And some of the issues are more challenging to do that for than others. For example, individuals who wrote about campus sexual assault did a really nice job of laying out a number of different organizations and resources around raising awareness on campus, faculty organizations, student organizations that are, of course, not in favor of campus sexual assault. It's hard to find somebody who is specifically in favor of campus sexual assault. So finding the opposing side on that issue can be trickier than some. For example, raising the minimum wage, where we do have a pretty credible pushback on that policy. A lot of people are saying that, we raise minimum wages, employers are going to have a harder time retaining employees at the same hours, they're going to have to make cuts, there won't be as many jobs for people, so we might get better wages for workers that keep their jobs, but other workers might be losing their jobs or at least losing hours. So that makes sense, that that's a credible, logical argument that we can then respond to and try to think about ways that we might be able to reach a compromise where both parties can be happy. Yet with the campus sexual assault issue, it's not so much that there are people in favor of campus sexual assault, but there are a number of very strong forces right now that are working, not behind the scenes, very overtly, to provide greater protection to those who are accused of campus sexual assault. So the way that I would frame that, and that some of you did frame it, was looking at the current administration and some of their loosening of the protections for victims of campus sexual assault through the Title IX Act. Betsy DeVos, our Secretary of Education, has taken a lot of heat for this in the media, and I actually posted in our outside resources tab on Blackboard. You can see that I just uploaded this morning an article within the past couple of weeks in the Washington Post talking about how campuses are trying to respond to these different regulations and the ways that it's going to erode victims' rights on campus, who've been victims of sexual assault. So I'd love for you guys to take a look at that, particularly those of you guys who were interested in campus sexual assault and who might not have identified that opposing party. So just a suggestion. Overall, everybody is doing a great job on these papers. If I provided some critiques in your paper that don't make sense to you, please reach out to me. There's a handful of individuals in the class that I suggested the Writing Center as a resource. And I just want to say, we just were fortunate enough to have the Writing Center director come and speak with our faculty. I'm going to use the Writing Center. I'm writing an op-ed piece for an online blog, and it's not really my comfort zone, and they made it very clear that they have this resource for faculty as well. And because I'm used to academic writing, I'm going to submit whatever I draft to them to try to work with them to figure out how to strike the right tone in that article so it's better received by a general public audience. So I just want to mention that to say the Writing Center doesn't mean that you don't know how to write. It just means we need to tweak your writing to be received in the way that you intended, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So don't be afraid to reach out to them. They also mentioned, the director mentioned to us that for those of you who are online and not able to come, I mean everyone's online, but some of you all are located in Tuscaloosa and some of you are much further away, so you can't come to campus. They have an online service where you can book an appointment, but you don't have to be physically present on your computer to talk to somebody for that appointment. You submit your paper by the time that that appointment slot comes up, and then somebody is just slated to sit down at that time and look at your work and will provide comments and feedback to you similar to what I do, but probably in a much more detailed way, because I'm also supposed to be paying attention to the policy content, of course, in addition to the writing. So I try to straddle that fence and pay attention to both, but you could get specific feedback about writing. Okay, I'm well over my 5-minute allotment, so I'm going to cut it there, but please do reach out to me, and I will be following up with your invitation to attend that Zoom session. If it works for you, great. If not, don't worry about it. You have your next assignment coming up on April 10th, another discussion post. I know Nicole's working on grading those discussion posts from the prior, I guess that was last week they were due. And you can now view your policy advocacy paper that I just posted grades for. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great week. Talk to you soon.